Hello guys, welcome to another Biz Bucket video. I'm your host Sohail Khan, and in this video I will be talking about the major differences between a startup and a small business. We will also see how the valuation of startup and small businesses can be calculated and why in this time investors are more interested to invest in startup as compared to small businesses. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel till now, please consider subscribing it so that you never miss a video again. And so guys, without wasting any time, let's get started. There are a lot of differences between a small business and a startup, but in the starting stages, both small businesses and startup start at a very small scale. Like a small businesses of a car washing, or a furniture shop start in a small shop, and big IT giants of today like Twitter, Facebook, and Google, they also got started from a garage or a dorm room. Now, when comparing a small business and a startup on the basis of a risk, the risk involved in the small business is very less. Like when you start a small business, you can earn the revenue within a few days. But that's not the case with a startup. Startup can be considered as an experiment which may work or not work. So the risk involved in the startup is very huge, but the return, because a startup has a huge growth potential, so the return can also be very high. Now, when we compare a small business and a startup on the basis of pivoting of idea, a small business generally start with some idea and they continue with the same idea throughout their life. But that's not the case with a startup. Startup pivot the idea a lot. Some startup even started with a sharing of photos app, but later on shifted to some e-commerce application. While comparing the impact of a small business and startup, we can see small businesses have a small impact on the small population in the nearby places, but a startup has a huge impact on the huge community of the people. On the basis of growth and scalability, we can see that small businesses revenue growth is based on the workforce they are having, and when they increase the workforce, the margins for them got decreased. But that's not the case with the startup. Startup growth is based on that product that number of users are using, and as we know, the copying of a software product is almost close to zero. When we compare the calculation of valuation of startup and a small business, we can see in this case of small businesses, the valuation is calculated based on the revenue. Let's say a small shop which makes a revenue of about $10,000 per month. So in a year, they will make about $120,000 per year. So based on the profit they are having, the valuation will be around 1x or 2x times the revenue. So it will be around $120,000 to $40,000. While talking about the valuation of startup, its valuation is not calculated based on the assets they have at that time, but on their upside potential which they can have in the upcoming years. Now the question comes, why investors want to invest in the startup although the risk is very huge? Now let's take an example of a company A. It got started with about $3 million valuation in the year one, and at that time investor invested about $300,000 in the exchange of 10%. So after about 5 years, you can see that the company valuation has grown from $3 million to $30 million. Now the investment that the investor has made about of $300,000 will have about 10 times returns on that when the company had acquired or got an IPO. So although the risk is high, but investors want to make that bet. So guys, this is all from this video. Hope you guys like it. If you like it, please consider sharing with your friends, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more informative videos like this, and see you guys in the next video.